Welcome to my crochet and coffee and introduction to Loop by Loop, which is my beginner's crochet book, which I've forgotten to bring over. Today I'm going to talk about Loop by Loop, which is my Learn to Crochet book. I have to say it feels like it's been a lifetime in the preparing. A little bit later I will go through all the chapters and everything else, and for the moment welcome to your crochet journey. I hope you enjoy it. So I said I'd go through all of the different crochet projects that you'll make. I think I seem to have lost one already, but here we go. So the first crochet project will be this lovely scarf. So it is made in a batik swirl. It's 200 grams. It's a really substantially long scarf. In fact, the best way to wear it, I think, is like this. So you put your two tails and you put it through like that. So I think that's probably the best way of wearing it. But you'll have your own ways, obviously. There is something you can do where you put one in there and do a twist. Oh, that's it. That's the way. There we go. Like so, and that gives it a flatter front. Oh, I remembered as I was doing it. That's good, isn't it? Anyway, so that's after number one, where you learn how to do a chain and a treble crochet stitch, you can make that scarf. So as I say, a really long scarf that's doubled up. But a really nice first project, and just doing all those trebles will give you lots of practice doing the same stitch over and over again, so that when you come to do counting in your next project, which is granny squares, you'll be able to do that. So we've got a couple of granny square cushions and a granny square blanket, she says over here. So first thing I'm going to show you is the granny square blanket. So here we go. Sun's decided to come out behind me, but let's have a go anyway. Here we go. So we've got this is 3 by 4 granny squares. So that's 12 granny squares in total, and each granny square has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Oh no, that's the border. Ha! That's the edge. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's one of every colour, but I've mixed up the colours going through here, and we have just a single colour going around the outside of every square. So if it looks a little bit extra on the old, I can't remember the names of the colours. This corally colour. What's it called? That's fondant. Clementine. No, that's orange is clementine. Shrimp. I remembered it's shrimp. So it seems a bit shrimp heavy. However, you could do one of the blues or one of the greens if you choose to do it in fruit salad. So this is fruit salad. So we've done 12 squares. They end at that orange, which is called shrimp. And then there's a border with each of the colours going out as well. So that's one of the first projects. Now this is joined using a very simple double crochet join or slip stitch join, and that's all the details are in the book. But that's just using a basic join because you've got to start somewhere. Okay, and then the next granny square project might be a cushion. Now you could. This is the Woodland Walk colourway. The other colourway, by the way, was fruit salad. This is the Woodland Walk colourway. Now you'll notice that I've got an orange cushion underneath. So that changes what the colours look like, as you'll see with the blanket. Having a brighter cushion cover underneath. Now with granny square cushions, I always recommend that you put a coloured cushion cover behind them so that you don't see the gaps as such. It just becomes one of the other colours. So this one is just a straightforward granny square, quite a large granny square for one side, but on the other side we've got 9 smaller granny squares, all of which have different colours, but this time it's this boysenberry, I think the colour is on the outside there. Okay, so boysenberry on the outside on that one. 9 squares on one side and 1 on the other, but obviously different sizes. Then we have this one, which is, again, this is in fruit salad, and this is granny squares done kind of this way round. It's difficult for me to show you really, but the joins are round here and round here, so that you join them together on 1.5 sides, pardon me, for each square. And then the reason you do a half side is so that we've got a button in the middle, and we'll be able to take this off to wash it. So you'll be able to take this off here, she says. Here we go. Take it off so that you can take it out and wash it. But also it's kind of become this feature, which I quite like. So I quite like this sort of flower looking effect that you get by having the buttons just stretch those granny squares around. This is a much more visible join here, so you can see, I don't know if you can see, but I'll push it up a bit closer so that you can see it's a bit raised, that join, so that you can see it. Okay, so that's chapter 2, week 2, because it's based on my 5-week course. I keep saying week 1, week 2. So that's chapter 2, where you're doing granny squares. Chapter 3 is granny stripes. So going back to a foundation chain, and you're going to work the same stitch in groups of 3. Again, we have to count in groups of 3, and that makes this cushion. This one again is in the fruit salad colourway, and we actually have a pink cushion behind. I don't know if you can see that that's pink cushion inside. The other one was green, so they actually look quite different. Also, I've made green more prominent on that cushion. So for this one, it's a big long strip that is then seamed up at the sides with an overlap, quite a considerable overlap, and then you put buttons on, and again, this is an easy way to get the cushion out. You'll be asking me, Diana, you didn't tell me how to get the cushion cover out on the first one. No, I didn't. So what I did was I sewed up the 3 sides, and then I've left one of the sides with a little ball of wool so that I can undo one side and then take the cushion cover out if I need to wash it. So that one is sewn in or crocheted in, and then these ones have got buttons to help you to take the cushion cover out, and then you're able to wash the covers, wash the cushion cover, and then restuff it. So I think this is one of my favourite ones, the granny stripe. It's really nice for me to have this really nice sample after I'd had a previous sample that I've had for quite a long time. Okay, before I go on, I'm going to have another sip. Do please, oh, that's better. Do please comment, do ask questions down below, and I'll do my best to answer them. Obviously, this is just the introductory video. So that's what we do in week 3, is granny stripe. And then we have ripple, it's on this side as well. Okay, then we do a ripple pattern, so that's increases and decreases. So you have like A's and V's. So you've already know how to do an increase with your granny stitch, and so we focus more on the decrease in week 4, and you can make this really rather lovely ripple cowl. Now this is done in Knit Me Crochet Me yarn, and it's just a really nice little cowl. It's not that wide, it's not that long, it's 46 rows I think. So it means that 46 rows, so it's quite quick, and it's nice for a gift, nice for a present for people, particularly if people don't really like scarves. Cowls are quite nice for just sticking on during the winter months in your coats and stuff like that. So that's the ripple cowl. So you can see that's just crocheted together. So again, that's done as a strip. So it's not a complicated thing to make. This is turned inside out, and the only reason it's inside out is because to show you the seam here. So that's the seam, and it's a wibbly wobbly seam, which is just nice, just a slip stitch seam, just to join it together. So again, not a really difficult pattern or difficult thing to do. I'm going to have another sip of coffee because I've got a bit of a frog in my throat today. Ah, that's better. Right, so the final thing that you do, the final chapter, not the final chapter, chapter 5, which is actually focused on making the flower square, but it also goes through how to make a babette square or solid granny. So the burgundy coloured square, the boysenberry coloured square here, this one is a solid granny. So next to it, the blue one is an ordinary granny square with groups of 3. This is a solid granny where you don't have those gaps, so it's quite nice for blankets. And then the other square that we do is this flower square, which again I will give you a nice video to show you how that all works. You also learn how to make a solid colour square, because the other granny squares that we did were all multicolour. Because actually it's easier to see where you're going when you do squares if you do them multicolour. Obviously more ends to sew in, but it is easier. When you're doing it a single colour, you have to know exactly where you're going. So hopefully all the information that I give you will help you with that, making that single colour granny square, the single colour solid granny square, and then you've got obviously the flower squares as well. And so this blanket is a combination of all 3 types of squares. It's a little bit bigger than the other blanket, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you all of it, but that's the top. So we start off with more grannies, a bit more open at the top, and then as we go down slightly diagonally, it gets a bit more solid and a bit more solid and a bit more solid. Obviously you can change any of those squares as you go. You could do all of the solid squares as grannies, you could do them all as solid grannies, and that would give you a different effect. As we're going down here, so that's the size of the blanket, so it's quite a nice size there. And finally we have the ripple cardigan. So this is made in one piece from the bottom up, and you do the whole of the bottom, the fronts and the backs, and then you work one front, then you work the back, then you work the other front. You sew or crochet across the seams. I pretty much always crochet the seams. And then you've got the sleeves, which are straight and then just sewn in or crocheted in. So you can see here we've got the sleeve seam inside there. And then the border is made, and you start at the bottom and you work up and around the neck and then down the front to make the border. And that sort of makes a little collar as well there. Okay, so that's your final project, because I wanted to make sure that you knew that you could make a garment. Quite large size differentials on that. I'm going to be making this pattern again, but with a smaller ripple so that I can do more sizes, and that will be published later on. Might even be published by the time you're watching this video, who knows. So that's loop by loop. That's all the things that you can make as you are going through and as you are learning how to do the crochet. So you can take your time. Now when I do this as a 5-week course, but the 5-week course will now be getting the book, and we will work through, but not expecting each week for them to have a project finished. But what they can do is they will go through week by week, and they will be able to see where they can do projects after they finish the course. It's available on my website for £15. The links to all the tutorial videos are in the book. So the playlist will be in the book. This is just an introductory video so that you can see what you can do. I hope you enjoy. I hope you join us on this wonderful journey into crochet and yeah, my life's work. And I will see you soon. Cheers.